Hey guys, it's Johnny Bergen with another Chicago Blues guitar lesson. And this time we're talking about Slim Harpo, Scratch My Back. Now, we've already done one Slim Harpo song way back. We did King Bee. And this one is just as important or more important a song as King Bee. And it's another song that just about everybody plays, wherever you are. I mean, it's really associated with Louisiana and kind of the swamp blues, Excella sound, but it's taken over it's been, every blues band all over the world has probably played this song, especially if you have a harp. But there are incredible versions without a harp. If you listen to, like, James Johnson, the original guitarist on this record, there's YouTube clips of him, and he's playing the intro, the harp intro, on guitar. He's playing it on guitar. So you can even play the song without harp if you had to. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So this song is in F, and I'm using a capo, as you can probably see here. I'm really big on capos. Capos are a big deal. There's a lot of songs that just simply rely on the open ringing strings, and this is one of them. So I'm gonna go over the bass line real quick. You can kind of do this with just two fingers and one finger most of the time. It's like kind of a great beginner guitar song, just like King Bee is. So everything's based on the second fret up from the capo and the open strings. You start on the low E string, then second fret up on the A string, second fret up on the D string. Open. If you're tapping your foot, never change. Same pattern, starting on the A string, back to the E string. Now you're wondering what happens on the 5, right? Start off with your second finger here on the second fret up, and you're already back to the 4. Could you feel right there? That was the beginning again. Notice how there was no turnaround. I really like blues songs with no turnaround. Wouldn't it sound corny if they did this? Basically, that might have ruined the whole doggone thing. Although, if you listen to the Junior Wells live at Theresa, sometimes you'll hear someone do that. And so there's always an exception. So, the first go around, they go the 4 early, which could be like a little shortcut. There were lots of shortcuts because these 45s were just like to the point right away. They establish their groove, they say that they put their hook right out there, and there's not a lot of time for fooling around. But there's a 2-bar intro with the harp. Do 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 change. So they might have thought it whereas, okay, there's 4 bars on the 1, and the first 2 are done by the harp, and then the second 2 are done with the band, and then they change. There's 2 ways of looking at that. Nothing to really worry that much about. So I still see it as kind of a shortcut. I love these 2-finger guitar riffs. Now I'm going to turn on my tremolo. I'm using an MXR purple tremolo pedal, and I really like it. It practically mows the lawn. It has so many features. And no, they didn't give it to me or say anything. I am just purely saying I really like this tremolo pedal. And it has a little preamp, and it has some other things about it. you can cycle through different ones, but I tried to cycle through the one called Opto, which is sort of most like a typical blackface reverb. Then you just sort of adjust your speed. I've got the depth at kind of like, I guess, 2 o'clock, and the speed about 2 o'clock. That sounds pretty incredible. There's also a square one. This is square. That has a choppier, that'd be great for a rumble or something. It doesn't really matter. Just get any kind of tremolo sound that you can manage. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you something that's kind of nifty. Rather than playing a full E chord like this, and by the way, James Johnson's, on the videos that I saw of him playing, he used his fingers. So I'm just going to go for it and use my fingers. Try a 2-finger E chord. I'm just bumping into the A string. I don't know if that's how he did it, but I like it and I think it's useful. So I'm bumping into the A string, excuse me. And then this is just great. You can just pick your notes. Maybe I'll bring the intensity down a little bit. So this is an E 7th chord. That's an E, and then you put your 3rd finger down on the 3rd fret up on the B string, and then you have an E 7th. That's an E with a D in it. So, and then the trick is to always hammer on this 1st fret of the G string. If you can do all that, then you've got it. You might want to use your pinky here. I'm not going to get, hung up on whether you use your 3rd finger here on the B string or your pinky. Here's the 3rd finger. Here's your pinky, right? 6 of 1. And then you just have to move your hand, right? Up to B flat. Here we go. Here we go. That didn't sound that great. Let's try it again. So. Oh, I'm itching. I don't know where to scratch. Come on, baby. And then sometimes you'll hear this one, like on the Junior Wells one, you always hear this one. Yeah, so that's basically the way that goes. So now the guitar solo is pretty rocking on this one. So that's a great solo, and the great thing is it's all kind of right here. I'm going to bring the intensity down a little bit. So it's amazing. Jimmy Vaughn's version really does, this T-Birds is pretty famous, and I'm not really going to discuss it because there are so many lessons about it already. But he takes a lot of phrases from this solo. It's just louder, basically. And it's more in your face because there's no rhythm guitar. And the rhythm guitar in the back of this is like... I think the rhythm guitar doesn't have the tremolo. Like that. is pretty great. So. Do like a F7th, and then just sometimes you hear the second fret, sometimes you don't, and then it just goes through your bars. I think he's playing kind of the same thing throughout the whole song, but all of a sudden it gets way louder in the middle of the guitar solo. He almost jumps out at you. It's like he didn't know where his volume knob or something was. Then he found it and cranked it. And then he turned it back down. Kind of thing you can never plan it, right? Yeah. And all you got to do is when you do this, you can sort of, see how I'm just doing a short movement? And I'm doing all the work with my third finger. The solo is just cool. Now I didn't play the solo exactly at all, but I gave you the notes that I would just slow it down and either to hunt it down or kill it or just learn the beginning of it, you know? The beginning is like this. It's just cool the way he wraps up all his phrases. It's an interesting solo. I'd recommend just slowing it down and learning it. And then if you want to learn the Jimmy Vaughn, it's going to be way easier once you learn this one. Like that. It's all right there. It's real hard boiled. Like it never really gets out of there. And I like the way he ends like that. And then, which is so easy. It's almost not even, I almost don't even have to talk about it. 13th fret. Or you can do both frets. So you have an up at the end. And that's all it is. And then you got to kill it with this. So that's that song. And I really like the Junior Wells version. And I love the guitar solo that Phil Guy plays. I mean, gosh, if you guys want to learn a different version, I mean, you know, there was a time when everyone was imitating Jimmy Vaughn, you know. But, I mean, I think people ought to start imitating Phil Guy. Like, and God knows, Jimmy Vaughn is a great guitarist. But I got tired of people imitating him. I really did. Which is by no means Jimmy Vaughn's fault. So, anyway, I'm going to turn on my Holy Grail and do a bit of the... now, the Junior Wells version is an E. Notice how they just messed with it a little bit. Like that. And I like the way Phil Guy always did this. It's very menacing. And then he just... It's funny. This is almost similar to the kind of thing that... Like, Jimmy Vaughn has a way of playing a note and letting it sit there. And it kind of like suggests like the wide open spaces, you know, to me. Call me crazy. But Phil Guy does that too. He hammers it on like no vibrato or nothing, just and he goes. That is just a totally different take on it. You know, it's just so cool. I wish I could have seen Phil Guy a little bit more. And as far as other versions, I mean, I've heard some versions that I really dislike of this song, but the Tony Joe White version is actually pretty cool for a real hillbilly swamp blues thing. Actually, I like it, and the cool thing about Tony Joe White's version is that the vocals are, they kind of have that same laziness. So anyway, there's lots of ways to go with this song, but it is nice to start with the original, and we're going to do a deeper dive into some of the other artists on Excello down the road one of these days, and we're also going to talk about Phil Guy. So it's neat how when you can take a song that's as common as this and go through all the different doors that it presents. So have fun with this song. Do comment on the comments. I always appreciate them, and do subscribe for more looks at the great blues songs and the great blues players and the little hidden nooks and crannies of electric blues. So be good. See y'all.